because I came back during COVID, I think Scoopski saw the biggest boom it had in its lifetime during COVID.
How did Scoopski actually start?
We were initially giving out the cookie dough via scoops. So that's how we just connected and we got Scoopski. I want our customers to look at a product on shelves and be like, I'm just curious.
Yeah. Thank you. Who do you look at as competition? How do you look in the long term to, keep this going?
I don't take competition too seriously until and unless there's tons and tons to learn from them, which is what I learn and then apply.
Hey everyone, this is Shruti. Welcome to my podcast, I'm Just Curious, where I talk of all things I'm curious about with the people I'm curious about and how they turn their passion into their profession. In today's episode, I'm going to be talking to this very vibrant young female entrepreneur who started her cookie dough brand called Scoopski and is also the founder of a gifting service called the Gift Concierge. I'm very happy and excited to welcome Vedika with me on the podcast today. Hi Vedika, how are you?
Hi Shruti, I'm good. How are you?
Good.
It's a pleasure to be here today.
Thank you. Pleasure's all mine. How are you feeling? How's your day been? Talk to me about that.
Day's been good, and more so looking at this, it just gives me a lot of perspective on how much effort goes into something that we just randomly watch on screen while scrolling through. And genuinely grateful to be here and be with you and your lovely team. And it's been a good day.
Thank you so much. It means a lot to me. You're very kind. Let's start from the beginning.
Right.
Let's go back to the childhood Vedika. Talk to me about that. What did you want to be when you were a child? What did you aspire to?
So looking at me, this will probably come like a plot twist in my life story, but I was a child model.
Oh, okay.
And I have advertised for companies like Cadbury, Bata, a lot of schools in Calcutta and nationally, and a lot of jewelry brands as well.
Oh, nice.
But that was something that my mom put me in just as something that probably her child would enjoy. And at that time, I was like a big part of the world of glitz and glamour. So I was like, maybe that's my future. But no, coming from a Marwari background, that is not really something that you take up as your career, not generalizing here again. But that wasn't a part of my career trajectory, as I must say.
That wasn't the long-term plan
That
you
wasn't
had
a
in mind.
long-term plan. So when I grew up, I just grew up as a very creative, very ambitious and a very impatient child. And I think that has sort of become a part of my DNA in some way that is both good and bad. But I like to credit a lot of that to my childhood. Having said that, ever since I was a child, I always knew that I wanted something of my own, like there's always a sense of ownership that I had to everything that I did or everyone who I was with. I feel a big sense of pride belonging to where I belong, having the kind of friends I have, and being able to build what I have. And that does not come in unless and until you have the full ownership of it. And I sort of had that in my mind since I belong to an entrepreneurial family as well. It was always ingrained in me that, okay, grow up to build something, grow up to employ people. And that was always somewhere back of my mind, not really knowing which industry I would go into. But yes, that was at the back of my mind. Then came my middle school years, high school years, where I just grew up to become the biggest foodie there was. I just enjoyed any and every type of food. And more so, I loved talking about my food and I loved making people try the kind of food I like. And
Interesting.
That sort of defined the industry I began with. And that's how I came across the idea of maybe doing something in the food business. I also went ahead and did my master's in food and beverage management from Milan.
Oh, really?
And because I knew there was something to do with food in my interest bank, and not a chef or a cook per se, because I might be creative, but I'm not creative enough to become a professional something.
Yeah.
So I'd rather stay in the management field. Hence, I went for a very unique course, in fact, in Milan. And that's how I sort of took my career forward in the food industry. And now I've started with Gift Concierge as well.
Very interesting. Talk to me about how was your experience in Milan? Milan is a beautiful city.
Oh, it is.
Yeah. And so what was the cost like? What was your experience like? I'm sure you did that because you wanted to have a very thorough professional expertise before you get into the business, because food business is not easy.
It's not.
It looks easy, it tastes good, but it's not easy.
It's not easy. It's a nightmare.
Talk to me about how was your experience in Milan, and what did you learn? What did you gain from that?
So I had one thing very clear in my mind, that if I ever go in for further studies abroad, it would probably be in a specialized field, not just for a regular management course, because I feel our country is great enough to be able to offer all of those services at a much premium level. But I wanted to go in for a more specialized course to be able to gain the industry insights that is probably not available in our country.
Right.
And this happened 2 years after I launched Scoopski, in fact.
Okay.
Coming from an entrepreneurial background, there was still nobody in the food and beverage space whom I could sort of turn to or could seek advice from. And I would sort of call myself a noob in this industry, because I just started it because I wanted to start it, not with any industrial...
You had passion for food.
Yeah,
so
just because I had passion for food, not
it.
any professional education, nor any detailed research.
Right.
So that point, COVID was nowhere in the picture. And I felt that, okay, I would be able to balance both my business and my master's. So which is why I went to Milan to do this course, which was primarily an MBA, but in the food and beverage space. So our course taught us about how to deal with production, how to deal with inventory management, how to deal with sales management. If I have to start a restaurant, how to deal with the day-to-day tasks, from building the restaurant to managing people management, etc. Everything.
Right.
That would be taught to you in an MBA, but from a food and beverage perspective. But sadly, COVID hit 4 months into the course.
Oh,
so I had to come back and had to continue the course online, which I graduated from a year later. But had this been in Milan, it would have been a more experiential course.
Yeah, it would have been a completely different perspective.
Yeah, because that's the perspective with which I chose to go for this, right? And it had a 6 months internship compulsory in Italy. So that would have been a game changer again.
But you can't do it now?
No.
No, not possible?
That course is done. So I mean, everything happens for a reason, right? Because I came back during COVID, I think Scoopski saw the biggest boom it had in its lifetime during COVID. And that was sort of a blessing in disguise. So no regrets there. But that course really did help in shaping my perspective.
Yeah. Interesting. I thought you did the course first and then you started. So talk to me about how did Scoopski actually start? What's, and where did the name come from? It's very interesting. And why particularly cookie dough? What's the story behind it?
So I had gone to Harvard summer school when I was in second year of college. And that was a month-long course at Harvard. So during that time, I had gone to New York just for a weekend with my friends. And that was 2017. So cookie dough was sort of the food trend of 2017. And there were long queues outside this one cookie dough parlor in New York.
Yeah.
The queue was 2 hours long. And so we stood there for 2 hours to try out the product. The product was mind-blowing because it was not something we had ever tasted before. But the consistency was sort of like halwa.
Oh, okay.
So if you come from an Indian taste palette, you would immediately recollect
gravitate towards it, and you would feel it familiar.
Yeah. So once I was done with my course, I came back to India, and then I was craving that really badly, and there was nothing like that available in all of Asia for that matter. And
I've never heard of something like that.
It was not available, and more so it is. Indians want a bang for their buck. They want to be able to do as much as they can, wasulo as much as they can of their product.
Not Indians, I think Gujaratis.
Gujaratis. I did not want to say that, but okay.
But let's just be honest here, now, okay?
So for that matter, Scoopski's maximum sales come from Gujarat and Gujaratis in Bombay.
See?
Yeah. You're bang on there, but
I'm Gujarati. We have to accept this. Come on, we are entrepreneurial and we want
exactly. So cookie dough sort of fits that brief because you can bake it, you can eat it as is, and you can use it as an ingredient to multiple other recipes that you have.
Right.
So we started experimenting with the product once we came back, got it tested, multiple trial and errors as a kitchen experiment. And then we presented it in a food fair or a flea market. And it took off like wildfire. We got sold out within 5-6 hours. Everything got sold out. And then that's when we realized, okay, there's a potential to this product. Then we started developing the packaging, the branding, like everything that goes behind creating a product, right? So we started doing all of that, and then we launched our website, and rest is history. We continued from there, and then we started supplying pan India. The problem with the product was that it had a 20-day shelf life. So you can't really
because it's
grow
a
it
dough,
as
right?
It's a dough, right? It's made fresh, so it's a dough,
Okay.
and we don't use any preservative, no additive, nothing.
Oh, okay.
Plus, we do not refrigerate it, so it's a non-refrigerated product.
Right.
However, we felt the need to increase the shelf life because the industry needed it. Plus, the product was such that to be able to grow it, you need the shelf life. Any F&B, that I think that is the major problem that any F&B product faces, is the shelf life and the perishability of it. So to be able to grow it, we sort of needed this time. And again, COVID came as a blessing because we got that time to develop this product. It took 2 years for us to develop Scoopski 2.0 version, which is a product which has a 6-month shelf life. It's the only one in the world to have a 6-month shelf life without refrigeration and without any kind of preservatives, additive, which is artificial in nature.
Kudos to you guys.
Yeah, thank you. So it is a patent pending product. We have applied for the patent now, hoping to get that very soon. So that is how it took that long, but we were able to nail the formulation, and yeah, now Scoopski is what it is. We have grown into multiple other categories as well. We are doing chocolate powders, coffee powders. We are doing other DIY snacks. So yeah, that is where Scoopski is at now.
How did the name come about?
So
who came up with it?
So my sister and I, we were just brainstorming names, and at that point, I needed any name that had a .in or a .com version available.
All right,
in the domain space. And we were initially giving out the cookie dough via scoops. So it was 1 scoop, 2 scoop, 3 scoop, but in like a different packaging. It wasn't just a jar. So that's how we just connected and we got Scoopski. Like,
interesting.
A cookie which is given by scoops. So
yeah, nice, interesting. Nice. Good tagline you have there. Talk to me about, like you said, that, it's like a product that you had to develop shelf life for. And also it's a dough.
Right.
So I am a little, I don't have much experience in food and beverage, and not even eating also, I don't have much experience. So, but talk to me about, like, how do you say that, that for people who might be thinking, oh, it's a dough, and now that people are getting so health conscious.
Right.
Where would you place this product, and how would you convince this people that it's completely healthy and, there's nothing to worry about, and, because people are getting too health conscious nowadays.
Right.
So how would you make them, what would you say to them?
So I feel the number one rule for any business to survive in the long run is adaptability. We were quick to understand that, and last year, we started off with, we understood the market, we understood the need for something healthy, something nutritious. So we launched a cookie dough halwa. Now, I'll tell you the story behind that as well. When you talk to anybody who's probably upwards of 30s, in their 40s, they do not understand the concept of cookie dough. They understand the concept of halwa. Right. Essentially, it's the same thing. The thing that we're trying to market is the same thing, just in a westernized format. So the healthy version that we launched, we called it cookie dough halwa. And that was made with oat flour, jaggery, no sugar, nothing processed. And that took off during Diwali. And so that is now the product range that we have, which is healthy cookie dough or cookie dough light. So the packaging says Scoopski light and the product is cookie dough halwa.
Wow.
And that is how we adapted. And now we have all kinds of customers coming to our page, right? So people who are looking for something indulgent, something that would replace an ice cream, and somebody who's looking for something healthy, probably as a post-workout.
Right.
So we cater to both through our product range.
Great. I just was like, confused because it said dough, and normally people have this, idea that dough is kacha, and how because I think parents or like moms, when you're kids, they're like, they have this mindset. So I was like, I wanted to talk about that. So that's why
we do a lot of video sort of content in a way that people understand how to use the product. We've done a lot of collaboration with a lot of popular brands to be able to showcase to their audience as to what our product does. And all of our packaging and labeling and everything makes it very clear as to how you use the product. And again, consumer education is an ongoing battle that we fight. But we are putting our best efforts to sort of educate our customers as to how this product is used and how they can keep on using it.
Yeah. But I think in your case, it sometimes, having a little mystery can also be little advantageous.
Right.
It creates a certain curiosity. So at least, it doesn't make things obvious. So at least even just out of that curiosity, someone will want to try it once.
Right, exactly. Right. I want our customers to look at a product on shelves and be like, I'm just curious.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You threw me off a little. Anyway, thank you. You're very kind. Talk to me about, being an entrepreneur, that too a female entrepreneur, young female entrepreneur, that too in this country, coming up with something unconventional in the very male-dominated food and beverage business where there are players who have had brands for like decades.
Right.
There are families who have had products coming out for decades. Who do you look at as competition? How do you look in the long term to keep this going? What are your goals and everything? Talk to me about that.
So I'll take it one by one. I'll just tell you how it is, firstly, to be an entrepreneur, especially a female entrepreneur in this industry. The one thing that I have realized pretty late in life is that nobody will take you seriously until you take yourself seriously.
True.
And that comes with a lot of trial and error because it does not take more than 2 seconds for anybody to put you in self-doubt.
Yeah.
And that happens more so to women than anybody else on this planet.
And they will accept it also,
They will accept
right?
it, yeah.
Like if somebody doubts, like you're not going to be like, no, that's not how it is.
That takes a lot of courage.
That
takes a lot of courage. That takes a lot of effort and a lot of self-grooming.
Yes.
To be able to detest or say no to that self-doubt. And
fighting a lot of generational conditioning.
Exactly. Yeah.
Basically.
Exactly. And to be able to, look in the mirror and tell yourself that you're worth it. That takes a lot of courage and a lot of fight within to be able to do that. And that is one thing that sort of does not end. The journey does not end. You need to keep on doing that to yourself to be able to one day stand and be like, okay, nobody can break me.
Yeah.
So that is something that is really required by any women entrepreneur in this country or anywhere else in the world. Having said that, I feel that being a woman entrepreneur, one thing that is very, very needed in our generation is to not get other women entrepreneurs down. So that is one thing that we do not realize we do, that, okay, if she's starting something, maybe she has family money involved, maybe she has husband's money involved, maybe she got some advantage from somewhere else. Why don't we just give credit to women who are actually trying to make out there on their own?
Even if family money is involved, what's wrong in that?
What's wrong in that?
It takes courage,
exactly.
guts, and it takes a lot of confidence to at least go out there and do something.
Not doing anything, right?
To go out there and do something.
Exactly. You still need that drive in you to be able to do something.
That's
to be
something.
Able to make your mark, right? To be able to have an identity.
Yeah.
And I think we should be giving enough credit to that.
Yeah.
That is a very important part of being a woman entrepreneur, to lift the other women entrepreneurs as well, and to be able to grow a community around you. So I think one of the major reasons I employ as many women in my company as possible is because I want them to be the most important bread earner in their family. And I have people who have come in my company. I have people who have come from labor class, from people who are probably doing day wages jobs, and I've employed them, and now they are the sole bread earners of their family. Their husbands have taken a back seat. So that is something that gives me so much joy, so much pride in saying that, okay, they are able to do that because I've given them the opportunity to do that, and I couldn't be more, grateful and happy for that.
That's the actual reward that you get. That you're going to keep with you even when everything else goes away.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And when it comes to competition, I'd say, India is a booming market. It's an ever-growing market. People will come and go. Brands are growing by the second. So, there are things to learn from every brand out there. Somebody is doing something right, which is why they are there, right?
Yeah.
But I feel whatever spoken about on the internet and on the papers, I feel there's some sort of vanity involved there in some way, and all the truth does not come out. So whenever I read something about a company touching 200 crores or 300 crores, I'm like, where's the money? What are they really making? And this is one thing that we were taught in IIM as well, is that revenue is vanity, profit is sanity, but cash flow is reality. So unless and until you know that the company is making money, there's nothing to be afraid of. They will probably come, raise tons and tons of money, burst that bubble, leave.
Yeah.
If that is the case. And if they're there to stay, then great, we'll learn from them. But yeah, I don't take competition too seriously until and unless there's tons and tons to learn from them, which is what I learn and then apply.
Yeah, and then let it be and then focus on where you are going.
Yeah.
Very interesting point that you mentioned earlier, that it doesn't take people for you to, put self-doubt in you and like, for you to fight back. So yesterday, like, so we were in Bombay and my intern and I, we were in the cab and we were going somewhere. And so so we checked out from the hotel and I couldn't find my earpods in the room. When I knew that I had left there before going for breakfast, it was in the room and I packed everything. And with me, the thing is, no matter how much scattered my stuff is in a room when I travel, I know exactly where everything is. It's so weird. It's so crazy. I know exactly where everything is kept. And I couldn't find it.
Okay.
And I was like, that's not possible. Like, so I had to get it. But then, so I had to like ask the team and they were like, oh, maybe we can check your bags. We can scan your bags. Maybe this happened. Maybe that. And they were trying to make me doubt and give up.
Right.
On finding my earpods.
Maybe it was your fault, is what they were trying to say.
They were subtly had some things planned, but they were not that great. So I was like, I'll go. And he's like, we'll have to check, but it will take time. And I was like, I'm here. I will take it and go.
Yeah. Right.
And I sat there for an hour. I missed like, my other plans. I had to go somewhere. And I was like, no. And especially my dad had got them like for him, but then he gave it to me.
Right.
And so I was like,
they're special.
It's special. I mean, I can buy another one, but no, I want, and especially when I see that it was there.
Yeah.
And I didn't appreciate someone like, it's all about ki ladki hai, she won't fight, she'll give up.
Yeah, exactly.
Or even if you fight,
like you just put self-doubt in her head and she'll just not bother anymore.
Yeah, and even if you fight, then probably, maybe people make you feel like, oh, you're being crazy.
Yeah, you make a big deal for nothing.
Yeah, you have to overcome so much of that. And, I was like, I was very clear in my head. I am going with my earpods no matter what. We had to stay there. They scanned our bags. They did everything. I went to the room to check finally. And I was like, I was at the breakfast from 9:58. I gave them precise time from 9:58 to this time. Maybe someone went in my room and got it.
Yeah.
Some staff member. You never know. Because this never happened before. So then they were like, okay, we are checking. And then he's like, we're checking the CCTV footage. They've not found anything. And then I laughed at him on his face. And I was like, you're not going to tell me if you found on CCTV. If someone went and got it.
Yeah.
Right? He figured out that this girl is not going to give up. I sat, then these two people, they went again to my room to check something. They asked me to wait in the lobby. In the lobby, they went upstairs to my room and then they came back with it. They were like, it was under the bed. And I was like, I had checked with my flashlight under the bed. There was nothing.
They planted it back.
Maybe, whatever they did. I knew that I had to have it and somebody took it or whatever it may be.
Right.
But the fact was, I told my intern in the car when we were traveling is that I want girls to be like, if they believe in something, they feel it's true and they feel the honesty in them, I want them to stand for it.
Exactly.
I don't want them to give up and make people feel them that, no, they should mellow down or they should not be too loud or anything. And I was like, this is what, I'm doing this podcast and everything, but actually that's the goal where, people should see and hear people like you as well. And then maybe they can be, oh, if Vedika can do it, then we can also do it.
Yeah, I think one thing that people in this situation would probably tell you is like, why are you making such a big deal out of it?
Yes.
It does not matter. Move on.
Yes.
Yeah, but I mean, why? Yeah. Why do you do that?
Why? And had it been some guy, I don't know, maybe but I don't know.
I don't think even men have it in them to again, I'm generalizing here, but they would just be like, okay, let it be. Men would probably be like, let it be.
Or even if they fought, they wouldn't be made to feel crazy, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Even if they fought for it, or even if they made, because men are childish. They will fight for the silliest of things. They will not fight for big things. They'll fight for the silliest of, I'm telling you. So, even if they fight for the silliest of things, they will be looked at as some hero.
Oh, yeah.
And we will be looked at as crazy for fighting for the big things also, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, that I think generations of women have faced it to be able to sort of stereotype and say this.
Yes. Yeah. So people need to everyone collectively needs to be
just stand for what you're worth.
Yeah, as individuals.
Yeah, that's very important. I think more and more women should exercise that.
Yes. I was one of them yesterday.
No, kudos to you, genuinely. Great that you stood up.
Yeah. And I was why I'm telling this story is because we talked about this and I was explaining this to, Vaishnavi, my intern, that because she's just started working with me, and sometimes people, when you're getting crazy or hectic about something, people would be like, why is she doing this?
Yeah, exactly.
And so I had to explain her, this is the thought process where I'm coming for this. It's a much bigger
The
thing.
same thing will resonate in many more ways if you start exercising it
and
earlier
also
on.
probably maybe the hotel staff would be careful the next time or be scared the next time to do something like that.
Yeah.
If you and like they say, if you let go the small things, you will be thrown things that you tolerate.
Exactly.
Those will increase.
Yeah, true. You manifested this, like you manifested your AirPods again.
I was like, I literally, I could see I am going with these AirPods. There's no way in hell I'm not carrying these because I've not left the hotel without them. I've not carried them anywhere out. There's no way they have had feet and left the hotel. So yeah, anyway, we got a little carried away, but we'll come back to you. And talk to me about some of the challenges that you faced while doing Scoopski. Like you said that you had to develop a 2.0 version where you had to create a bigger shelf life. What are some of the other challenges that you faced that you overcame and you were like, okay, I learned from this. I never thought this could happen, or these are the new things that come up once you grow a food and beverage business. Talk to me about that.
Right. So food and beverage, I think there are certain problems that the industry faces.
Yeah.
Like I said, shelf life is number one. Secondly, the food trends are constantly changing.
Yeah.
So how do you adapt to that?
Right.
And thirdly, there's so much competition in the food and beverage space. And there's so much substitutability in the food and beverage space. Like if you don't want chips today, you can substitute that with wafers. You can substitute that with chocolate. Because it's not like, this used to happen earlier where savory couldn't replace sweet and sweet couldn't replace savory.
Yeah.
But now people are very flexible with their taste palettes, right? So there's so much competition that you need to constantly keep on innovating. Like what is new that you're bringing to the table? Because there's no loyalty. In food and beverage, there's no loyalty. If you like Lay's today, you probably like Uncle Chips tomorrow, you'll probably like Balaji the third day. But they are again replaceable, right?
Yeah.
So that is something that every entrepreneur in the food and beverage space has to fight and battle with. And I think one solution to that is constant innovation. So we started off with cookie dough, but cookie dough could not be enough to sustain us throughout, right? We had to come up with different categories, different flavors, different ways to engage our customers, etc. And I think collaboration is the key. Now, for example, we sell our cookie dough with chocolate shake. We sell our cookie dough with, we've done a collaboration with Porfora where we were selling our cookie dough with tooth whitening powder.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, that was another collaboration
Very
that we
interesting.
did. And I think collaboration is the key because D2C industry is, I think, a very friendly industry when it comes to entrepreneurs, at least. Like every entrepreneur is willing to collaborate with the other. That is something, at least I have noticed. That everybody wants to sort of piggyback on your customers and grow, and nobody is denying that. So that is a great atmosphere to be in. And D2C again is very difficult to scale, more so because the performance marketing costs are increasing by the day. Any kind of ad you run on Facebook or Instagram, that is growing by the day.
Algorithms are changing.
You never know what might hit you the next day.
Right.
So I think the organic way to grow is by leveraging each other's community. And D2C founders are very open to that these days, and I'm glad that they are.
Yeah.
So that has been one solution to all the problems that an F&B entrepreneur faces.
Right.
And yeah, I think constant innovation is something that has kept us on our toes and kept us innovating. We are also the first ones in India to have launched a s'mores kit. So that is a DIY s'mores. So that has again been taken really well by the market. And is great as a return favor as well. So yeah, that is something that has gotten us going. But having said the different problems that entrepreneurs face is not just my problem. I think every F&B founder would resonate with this, that growing performance marketing costs, growing competition, and growing, lowering shelf life. And the one way to increase shelf life for any food product is by adding preservatives. You add preservatives, you can grow the shelf life to 2 years.
Yeah.
But then again, people don't want preservatives.
Yeah.
So it's like,
not healthy. People
catch-22 situation. Like, what do you really do? People want products that last longer, but they do not want preservatives.
Yeah.
That is few of the major problems we face.
Talk to me about Gift Concierge, your another venture that you recently started 6 months back.
Right.
Talk to me about that, what it is all about, why did you start it? Talk to me about that.
Sure. So Gift Concierge is a one of a kind, I'd say, gifting service in the country. Do you believe, I'd like to ask this question to you, do you believe any gift with a story behind it makes it more meaningful?
Or you want an honest answer from me?
Yeah.
I believe, for me, it's not the gift. it's the person and the thought that they are coming from,
Exactly. Yeah.
and the
So the thoughtfulness is is what
exactly.
you look forward to in a gift,
and
right?
the person,
And the person who's giving it to you.
Yeah.
Now, what happens in our day and age is that we are spoiled for choice.
Yeah.
Right? We are spoiled for choice in a way that anything and everything sort of feels transactional now.
Right.
The thoughtfulness is sort of wavering away in the gifting that our generation does. Be it experiential gifting, be it product gifting, or just be it a letter. The thoughtfulness is going away. And that is what we wanted to revive with the Gift Concierge. What we do and what our forte is that we do storytelling and thoughtfulness behind every single gift. So any client who comes to us, and by the way, most of them are men, whoever comes to us to curate a gift or to get a gift, we first try to understand the depth of their relationship with whoever they're gifting to. So say a person has come to take a gift for their wife or their significant other. We first try to dissect the relationship to the T. What their story has been, what does the person find interesting about the other person, what are their likes, dislikes, needs, wants, etc. And we try to get to know the giftee through the gifter's eyes and to the absolute detail. And then we personalize, customize each and every gift, be it a date night, be it like a big gift, or be it like a set of gifts. We customize everything to the person, and we are also starting this new thing where we put down a QR code and we actually tell the giftee the entire thought process behind the gift selection. So from the time the person came to us, what kind of conversations we had, what kind of back and forth we did, and how much thought actually went into curating the gift is what we put out in every gift. And that sort of makes it special, and that's something that you will remember probably for a lifetime.
Right. Yes.
So that is our forte, and I feel that storytellers are the most powerful people on the planet, and we try to make every gift a new story.
Right. Yeah. So basically, like understanding the purpose behind it, understanding, the story, and understanding the person, and creating a lifelong memory for them.
Exactly.
Not just a time being memory,
right,
and a lifelong memory.
Yeah, and we do both experiential gifts as well as physical gifts. We curate date nights, we curate parties, not parties, but like an experience for a group of people.
Just like a small group of people.
And we can do date night setups, like we've done perfume making date night setup. We've done like a puzzle making thing where people make their puzzles and they frame it and that's on their walls. And we've just done like experiential date nights as well as product gifting, and we do corporate gifting as well. So we are doing
we'll put up those Diwali, puzzle pictures and everything here.
Definitely.
Yeah. Talk to me about, like, I feel like it's more because of social media. You think that thoughtfulness has gone down? Do you think so?
Yeah, I feel, and more so that, I think anything that takes effort, takes time, I think that's just like going away, because our attention span has become literally, like, according to Instagram algorithm, our attention span has become 4 seconds. Now, imagine to be able to put in that much effort and that much time, you need to have like that thoughtfulness as a how do I put it? As an intent.
Yes.
That intent is not there anymore in people.
Yes. Patience is
not there anymore in people. So, we're just basically outsourcing their patience. Like, that's what we're doing.
Lovely. Talk to me about someone watching. If they have a passion for something like you have, what would you tell them? Like, if they are wondering how to start, where to start, we're confused. We studied this, like you studied something else,
right?
But you wanted to be in the food and beverage business, and then you studied that. But how do you navigate this? Like, when you how to figure out, the path.
Right.
Once you know that, okay, this is my passion, and what are some of the things that you feel like from your own experience, you can go back and be like, oh, maybe if I could have done this that way, maybe I didn't need a professional experience, maybe I did need a professional experience. So talk to me about that.
See, I feel there are some gifted people who know what they want from the day they're born.
Right.
Most of us are not that.
Yeah.
So whoever is not that, I feel you should just consider yourself as a multi-potentialite. You can do anything and everything that's there.
Yeah.
But I'm coming from my mistakes something I can say from my mistakes is that always find a core value, a sort of a core skill that you have, and excel at that.
Yeah.
Everything else will come with it.
Right.
So unless and until you are unbeatable in one particular thing, you will be beatable in everything. So try to get that, understand that core skill that you have and polish that with everything that you do. I feel, at least in my case, marketing as well as creative production was my core skill. So anything and everything I enjoy doing has to do with either of these.
Right.
And that is something I try to brush up with all phases of life. Like anything and everything I do, I want it to be creative in some way or the other.
Right.
And that is something that I would recommend people to do. And secondly, again, coming from my mistakes, if at any point you have an opportunity to go for a co-founder, go for a co-founder.
Right.
Like always try to have a co-founder on board. Might not be a 50-50 co-founder, might be a 40-60, 20-80, doesn't matter. Have a co-founder on board, because the way you're able to resonate ideas with your sounding board, you're not able to do it with yourself. And you need a sounding board who is equally invested into whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
So
and who is also involved in that
day-to-day activities.
Yeah. To
with
understand.
equal stake,
to understand the gravity of it and give ideas and opinions and solutions from the situation and not from the outside.
You can only go so far by yourself. And this is one more thing that I learned very recently, is that after one point, you become the biggest bottleneck for your own firm. So, you need people who are equally invested as you to be able to show you the right path.
Right. Yes.
That is definitely one big advice I'd give to people who are just starting off or who still have an opportunity to look for a co-founder. Yeah.
Right. Interesting. Now we'll move to a little bit more fun segment, which is called Curious Quick 5.
Okay.
So are you ready?
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I'm ready.
One thing you're curious about recently.
One thing I'm
anything
curious,
apart from entrepreneurship, apart from like something completely random, like,
Okay.
Could be anything.
Wow, this has completely thrown me off. One thing I've been curious about, okay. This is not related to entrepreneurship, but I want to be able to experiment more with my fashion.
Right.
And I recently came across this one concept where Ranveer Singh has now become a theme of parties.
Wow.
So yeah, I've just been curious that, like, if I had to dress up for a Ranveer Singh party, what would I wear? That's something I've been recently curious about.
I would love to see that.
Yeah, I would love to see that as well.
I would love to see what people are invited to a Ranveer Singh theme party and what all of them are wearing.
Yeah,
that would be interesting.
Yeah, it was a very curious thought that I had.
Very interesting. What's the one person you're curious about? Living or dead? Could be anyone.
One person. Okay, so I recently saw Tashkent Files like 3 days ago. I'm really curious about Indira Gandhi's life. Yeah, I want to know what her intentions were and who she really was. I want to read more on that.
Right. I bought a book on Indira Gandhi when I went to the museum in Delhi. And I was also fascinated by her. Like, the first female prime minister of India and all of that. And
it takes guts to get there, but it takes a lot of shit to get there as well.
Yes,
so I want to know.
Yes, and she got assassinated. So, yeah, it's interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah.
What's the one place you're curious to travel to?
Japan.
Okay.
Like, I didn't have to think twice about it. Japan has been on my bucket list since the very longest time. And I'm a Potterhead. So Japan has a big Harry Potter world.
Okay.
Which is where I want to go. Plus, I want to see the cherry blossoms. And just the way they function, like, Japanese culture is very different from any other culture I've ever known.
Yeah.
So I want to explore that further.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, what's the one book or author you're curious about?
I'm recently reading Palace of Illusions.
Okay.
And that is basically talking about Mahabharat from Draupadi's eyes. So I wanted to, and that's going to be turned into a movie very soon.
Right.
So I want to go through that book and I want to see, okay, what did the writer really have in mind? And Bhagavad Gita is one thing I've wanted to read since a very long time.
Right.
And I wanted to give like enough time and attention to be able to grasp everything Bhagavad Gita has. So before I read that, I want to finish this to be able to carve a path there.
Right. I think someone else on the podcast also talked about this book. Yeah, okay. I'm not able to recall who, but I've heard of this. Or maybe I've heard it somewhere, or maybe someone has talked about it on the podcast.
Yeah, the book is, I think, 10 years old.
Yeah. I think someone was talking about this.
Yeah.
What's the one technology that you're curious about?
Technology. I want to see what beats AI. Like, because AI is now, what's future? What's the future? Because in the past, everybody's just spoken about AI.
Yeah.
Now that AI is here, what's next?
Yeah.
Is what I want to know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
what do you think will be the next? What comes to your imagination?
I think anything that can identify AI as AI is next. Because for now, like,
good point.
Yeah, anything that, I mean, you can be talking on call and it could be AI talking to you. Something that can identify that this is AI, maybe like a true caller for AI, you know?
Yes.
That is something that could be next. Because if this continues at the rate it is, I think people won't have to do anything at all. Like, we can have a full-blown relationship going on with AI and our partners won't even know about it. Like, they could be talking to an AI and they won't know that they're talking to an AI. So it's messed up.
Or someone is fooling you.
Somebody's fooling you. Somebody's replying to you on your chats and you don't know who it is. Yeah. So it's messed up, right? But yeah, I want to see what beats AI.
Very interesting. One of the best answers of this question, I must say, goes to this answer. We've reached the end of the conversation with you. So any last thoughts that you would like to share? Any feelings about being on the podcast? Anything?
So I am new to Ahmedabad since we're shooting in Ahmedabad.
Yeah.
I'd just like to say that.
You just got married.
Yeah, I just got married like 5 months ago, 6 months ago now. And this is like sort of my first appearance in a way in Ahmedabad. And it is a big deal for me because, you know, coming from Calcutta and sort of trying to make my mark here, it takes a while, it takes time, it takes people to get to know you. And I think this is a good platform to begin with. And the fact that I'm getting these opportunities such early on in a new city is a good way to put myself forward. And I mean, kudos to you for planning this and, you know, genuinely like being so open and creative about this. That, I mean, this could have been an online conversation, this could have been an email, like you never know, right?
Yeah.
But the fact that you're going forward and doing this is a big deal. And
thank you.
Yeah, like genuinely keep this up. And I'm sure people out there love your podcast. I have seen my husband's podcast as well.
Yeah, he was on season one of our very early on guests.
Yes, and I remember having the thought to myself that, okay, this is really well made at that time.
Thank you. Means a lot.
Great job.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much for taking the time and coming and sharing your journey and, you know, talking about how female entrepreneurs should be. We had to talk about your tattoo though, we forgot. But we'll do it off camera. But thank you so much for being here and you absolutely loved it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.